welcome everybody. I guess before I start speaking, how are the volume levels? Everyone seems ecstatic about the volume, so that is great. Lovely. Let's get going. So, welcome to the Joburg Underground Film Festival. Woo! Yay. My name is Bill. Sorry, someone else was recording a thing here and I just hit your mic, so I apologize. This is our second annual event. Last year, we were in a small little abandoned shop, and this year we are in the lovely Fin Studios. So thank you so much to Fin Studio for welcoming us into your space. Great, yeah, so as you might have seen if you're here already, the Joburg Underground Film Festival is dedicated to showcasing experimental, radical, unorthodox cinema. It was started kind of noticing that within the South African landscape, most film festivals tend to have a focus on more narrative films or documentaries that are a touch more, I don't want to say traditional, but have a kind of clear narrative focus. There isn't much opportunity to be watching more abstract work in town. And so that's where this film festival is born. Not everything is like totally out there. There is still some narrative work that's a little more accessible. And really what we try to do is show quite a variety of films that I could best describe as ones that wouldn't necessarily be screened at most other festivals and definitely wouldn't be screened on your streaming services or in theaters. So with one or two of the films tonight, you might find yourself feeling a little lost, unsure, and in those cases, something that somebody said to me once at a similar screening that I've kind of kept with me that has been great is think less of like trying to make sense of things in a broader, big picture way, but with one or two of the films, maybe think, what are the colors that I'm looking at? What are the sounds that I'm hearing right now? Almost like you might pay attention to an art piece at an art gallery. I think sometimes there's less of a tendency to watch films in that way. We also, on the note of playing work that might not necessarily screen at other festivals, one or two of the films here have almost no budget. And that's a thing I'm very excited to show, because given the way that films tend to work in the broader world, in the industry, so much of what we watch as cinema is made on multi-million-dollar budgets. And I think it's very exciting to be able to look at something that somebody has made that's shot on an iPhone. So we've got a fun, eclectic lineup. One film will be abstract and will be shot on 8mm and on DV cameras and using archival footage. The next film will be a narrative shot on an iPhone, and it's all over the place. It's fun. It's a mixture of things. We've got some films from abroad. Tonight we have a Brazilian film. We have films made in the US. We also have films made in South Africa.
This way, young smacks.
Honestly, ek het actually nie eens tyd om dit te praat nie. Maar ons sal binnekort Cameraman gaan.
Which, on that note, at the end of the evening, we will be having a Q&A. So if you can start making your way to get a seat.
On the last album.
I'm Jason Mollick and I wrote and directed Roadhouse.
Hello, I'm Sarula Makwea. I was an actor on Tiny Apocalypse.
Hi, I'm Tandeni. I was a DP and colorist for Tiny Apocalypse.
I'm about to open up to questions from the audience, but I guess right before we do that, if two of you could perhaps just talk a bit about kind of like the style of the film and like the choice behind that regarding Lathan. Yeah.
We got, it was a student film made for our university, and we got a random genre, which was comedy. And then we kind of all collaboratively pitched in, inspired by What We Do in the Shadows, and also Peles's house was the main thing. We felt there were like lonely ghosts there, which is very cool. I don't know. Yeah, documentary.
Yeah. And then leading into my question for y'all, a bit of context. So I directed Tiny Apocalypse. I was not planning on screening one of my own films, but as far as how the programming of the evening went, I had to replace a film, and it worked pretty well within the lineup. So with that being said, the film kind of like exists within 3 different sections. This is a bit more from Taneri than usual, but if you could maybe talk a bit about like how you approached just talk about differentiating between the settings, maybe in terms of lighting specifically.
So we had a 3-part, 3-character film that had to all culminate in the Tiny Apocalypse. And it was DP between myself and Leon, he's not here, unfortunately. Leon shot Cyril's scenes. So our inspiration was a bit of Wong Kar-wai vibes and framing. That's why everything was a bit weird, center, low, high, just to create a weird visual effect, essentially. So Role's plan was, lighting plan was a bit harsher, because he had quite a funny scene to play out, so it was a good juxtaposition with lighting, and our women actors had lighter, or like, less harsher lighting, just to kind of press into the melancholy, I think, of what they were each going through. So yeah, that's the thinking like that.
Thank you. And on that note, regarding lighting, a fun little fact about Tiny Apocalypse, if it wasn't clear, is that it was all shot within the same apartment, like the exact same one. So they needed a lot of work to make it seem like everybody is living next door to each other as opposed to in the exact same apartment. That's all I want to be asking for now. On my end, I'd love to just spend more time with the audience questions. I see we have one there already. In an ideal world, I would have a wireless microphone, but if you could just project, that would be great.
It's actually quite up to the question I wanted to ask around the challenges in creating something that you almost can predict is going to be humorous or funny to the audience. As a director, how do you consolidate scripts, cinematography, lighting, performance to achieve that end? As a DOP or as a cinematographer, how does the design or the visual language inform the humor in the piece?
Yeah, well, we go to anybody, so.
Okay. So collaborating with Bill on this particular project and reading the script, I didn't know people were going to find it funny. So when I heard people laughing, because I think I shot the more sadder, serious, a bit manipulative scenes. I didn't expect to have any laughs with that, but collaborating with Bill on that was went swimmingly well. Little too few hiccups, but everybody pulled through and made it want to work, essentially. So I think the spirit of making it wants to work, making it work will bring the product together, essentially. Yeah, so we married everything. That's basically it.
authenticity of our film, I think we just filmed what we found funny, I guess, in our house, in my house. Well, we don't live together. Yeah, and I think it was really fun collaborating with Jason. Because he just goes wild for anything. And it was really fun shooting a comedy with him. Because we have different types of humor, but I think it really worked well for this like spoofy mockumentary. Yeah.
I think the visuals and the cinematography was the last thing on my mind, basically, because it's supposed to be. No, but I mean, I know, right? I mean, because it's observational and because it's a documentary, there's kind of like a clunky, like, realistic feel. That's not so much. The style is like realism for the most part, right? I think most of it's in the costumes and the jokes.
I guess briefly, as far as Tanani, you saying you weren't picturing a lot of humor in it, but there being some humor in it. When I write anything that might be funny, I specifically write it in a way that I seldom write jokes that I expect people should laugh at. Rather, I focus on like the drama aspect, but I think life itself can be funny. So, with Sorola's scene specifically, and I guess I'm talking about you now, but it's more my observation of you and why I think it's relevant that I say this. If I thought somebody else in that role, I don't think it would have necessarily been that funny, but I know that Sorol is really good with eye work. He just like manages to pop and kind of like has this effect that like really is like, oh whoa. And so essentially like that could have worked not being comedic, but I think Sorol had brought the comedy out in that role, is how I would describe that. More questions from the audience? All right, Sorol, actually, do you want to respond to what I said now, or?
No, that's...
I'm going to go here, just because we, but yes.
So my question is like kind of based off of the topic we're discussing now. How different is it watching the subject come to life from writing it to watching people watch it? Like how different do you receive it? Does it change in your mind from when the idea initiated to the end where you're observing people observe your work? That makes sense.
I feel with comedy specifically, it's like the audience is always like on your mind. Like it's always about the audience. If they laugh, it works, you know. So it's always about what makes them laugh in particular. So I think for me, this feels like natural. It wouldn't be something that I could watch by myself, you know, as a conception outside of other people.
I think as an actor per se, I think it's different because when you watch it by yourself, you don't necessarily see yourself as funny, anything like that. But then when you watch the audience's response, it's like, oh, I guess that was funny, or I played it funny. But it's not a thing that I personally go in on, like, I'm going to try to be funny, or I'm going to try to be, I just stay true to the character, and whatever comes out, comes out.
It's also just good, like getting your work out there, so like seeing it and not. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't mind what type of reaction the film is going to get, but just like getting our hard work out there and at least sharing it with people is like the best feeling. So like, yeah, that's what
Question here?
For both films, how much, if at all, did improv play a role in the filming process? I'm familiar with what we do in Shadows, and they do a lot of improvising and jokes with that, and I guess with a more drama-based film,
just started moving the mic. It says.
I feel like there were some jokes that were improv, but I don't know if they made the cut. I don't know if you remember which ones were specifically. I thought. Most of it. I don't know. Most of it. Yeah.
They stayed in character the whole time we were filming and on breaks, and it was actually quite comedic the whole time. Jason was like, keep filming. We're hungry, yeah.
David, in particular, the guy who played Cecil, just wouldn't stop. Even Wolfgang, who played Young, was getting kind of annoyed with him, and he was like, because he could just speak for like half an hour. So, especially that couch scene was mostly improv, I think.
The only improv I did was prior or prep of the role. That's when I was trying to do improv and whatnot. But when it got to the actual shooting, I actually had to stick to the script.
Even in that, with sticking to the script, Bill wasn't too fussy with what the scenes I shot, at least. They would let the scene roll out, and if it felt good, yeah, we kept it in the cut. If it didn't feel good, put it on ice, essentially. And then technically our improvisation, some of the improv was the oven scene, just sticking cameras where you can to try and make things as interesting as possible was one of them, and then changing a lot of, everything that looked night was shot in the day. And then the last scene where they all link up was shot during the day. So yeah, okay, yeah. Only the night stuff was shot during the day, that was improvised, yeah.
I wish I had inside info on both films, but I do on this one, and so I do want to ask a follow-up question to Danny. Before I do that, so essentially, Sorolla and I came up with a character together, and so that's, in that sense, Sorolla doing a lot of improv beforehand led to a script that was to the page mostly, but it came from this natural process. And today, specifically, we were going to have 3 cinematographers. One person last minute for an emergency had to pull out. So the first section of the film, you kind of came in at the last minute. I think there, I don't know if you have any thoughts to talk about as improv, like how we shot it. But
What happened? So that was the shakes scene. Yeah. The shakes after that. I'm trying to remember how that day went. So we shot the horses first, and we had to try and make it look like, yeah, we had to try and make it look like it went, like time was passing between lying to her friend on the phone and trying to develop a project that would be suitable for uni. Her performance wasn't really improvised, if I remember. It was just that technical aspect of trying to change the timing of the day, essentially. Yeah, that was the hardest thing.
And then also, like, with the framing, etc., the middle section, we planned out all of the plots, but we kind of, like, shifted that live, and we were, like, freestyling, essentially. So that was the one extra thought I had there. That was interesting. Any other questions? Yeah, okay, we have 2. Yep, first.
For the road, what was it like to shoot with the old actors? Like, what was, how did they get involved? And what were they like?
I found both of them on Facebook, on acting groups. Went through, like, a lot of people that I sent the script to, and they didn't want to do the humping gag. So a few people said, you want to be part of this film? And they said yes, and I sent the script, and they said no. And these 2 guys were completely down, which I was like awestruck by. And yeah, I think they were both very different. Wolf was like much more composed, and David was just like wild. Like, he was just having fun on set, and he was just like grateful to be on set. Yeah.
We'll go there, and then I'll get back to you. I'm going to wait as well, sorry. And then we'll go there.
So with Rhodes House, man, I just want to know, you guys got a random topic, right? Comedy, and you think Rhodes. How did that come about? Like how Rhodes, really? How did you guys think of that?
Well, it was together because Palesa wanted to tell a ghost story, or you were speaking about ghosts in your house, but she feels like there's ghosts in her house. And I think someone brought up, maybe I probably brought up Rose and colonizers, and we're just like saying things, and people were like, okay, ghost story, Palesa's house with colonizers. It was a bit like really associated.
There was the other question that we had.
Oh, no, you got me too quick.
I just have a question, okay, but
Go ahead. Are you ready now?
I think I'm ready. This
Okay.
is a very niche market, so like how do you guys promote your skills and so on and so forth? Because I got invited by a friend, and this is like definitely not out there, so I'm just curious, how do you promote your acting skills, or you know where I'm
One way thing, I do have a kind of an answer there, right? So I spent a few years living in Nashville and like through the US, and there are more spaces where people show slightly more out there work. I haven't found that many spaces here, so that's why as a filmmaker I was like, I know that we have great artists who are making very cool, interesting work that doesn't necessarily fit within White Light Screen at New Metro. And for that reason, I was like, I want to be part of starting a film festival that can show work like this. And I think we have both the filmmakers who make work like this and audiences who want to watch more out there work. And it's essentially just building more spaces where we can do that and have more platforms for that is a thing that I strongly believe in. I know some of these people personally. Actually, I'll hold my thought until you any of you have something to answer that. Well, the bit that I'm going to add is that I think a lot of people who are making work that is a little more out there have skills that are transferable within a mainstream context and often do work there as well, and then tend to do films like the ones we've watched tonight outside of that. And so if anybody is looking to hire folks to do more mainstream work as well, go for it. Or if you want to fund more experimental work, great, you know what to do. Cool. I think I saw a hand popping up over there. I'm making that up. That's the best.
What were the biggest sort of lessons learned from these projects that you will take to
I think talking about it a lot. We spoke in my kitchen for 2 hours about, is this going to be problematic? Is this going to be like really crazy to go out there? I think really good communication. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other part that I wanted to mention that was mostly improvised was Alex's scenes, the attempt. We wrote like more for him on the day because I hadn't written that many lines, and I think Palesa and the producer also thought they wasn't getting the screen time, and so like on the day it was like a bit of a crisis. You had to think about that, and yeah, I guess like what I learned, I would say, is like acquiescing to like other people's opinions, like reading the room. And yeah, making sure everyone's like on board with it because you don't want to be the sole character.
I'll definitely say collaboration between the director and the actor. Because usually some directors, I would say, they just give you a script and like work on it on your own, as opposed to you having an actual collaboration with them and asking questions and working through the script with them before you even shoot, or even while you're shooting. So that's one thing I'll definitely take.
Yeah, yeah, so collaboration, communication, talking about the script and ways you can frame things technically. We're just laughing. The other main thing I learned that was really important was just to continue being nice, you know, because a lot of us come together to try and create these things from very little to nothing, and it's very easy to lose faith or grow resentment, but yeah, be nice.
We have time for one or two more questions. Okay, we'll do, yeah, these two. So your time is up first.
With the last film, as much as it's funny, there's also like the darker side to it. The idea of being haunted by these colonial figures, especially with this country's history. And I don't know, were there concerns about, I don't know, not that they weren't human, but like overly humanizing them to the point where it seemed more as like cute and funny old men who are in love and not like the monsters they also were. I don't know how you strike a balance with that. I also just found it really compelling, and I don't know if there were other figures you guys were considering, like throwing into the mix or not. I also kind of wanted to see where the story would go further.
So I wasn't concerned. I felt like I was making fun of them like quite clearly, and I think what I felt is that the comedy only works because of the taboo. One hand, you know, humanizing them, and on the other hand, like sodomizing them, I guess. And yeah, I wasn't so concerned about that, but I think a few people in the crew were concerned about that on the day. So that's why the script had to change a little bit. But yeah, I felt quite sure of myself. I mean, the guy who like he's on the statue is me, so I felt like I was safe, like being quite clear about what I was saying. No. I mean, yes.
No.
This question here.
So in terms of what you guys are talking about with lighting and stuff, very specific to the character and how you want the audience to perceive them. How do you like know what to do? Like you have to struggle to establish what you should do and how will you write the character to make sure it's perceived the way you want.
So me and Bill had a little bit of back and forth whilst we were reading the script. And I just presented ideas to him well in advance before we actually wanted to shoot a specific movie. So once it came about, the characters, and once I saw the writing and the characters that were in the movie, I just kind of gave me ideas of like how we show time going and how we'd frame them to kind of amplify the story essentially for each person was just also like a back and forth until we're like, this fits this particular character and this would fit the other particular character. So whether it be a technical dolly zoom or low to high or slow pull out, essentially was all decided upon well in advance. Yeah.
To add to that, the one character, the middle section, Risa's section, we almost did it kind of like in reverse, where when I just started writing the script, I was talking to Ntandeni about different visuals that he was interested in filming. And you mentioned being interested in filming like some of like the more like wavy, handheld shots that we shoot on the dining. Eventually we end up doing the dining scene table, which is laying the table. And so like, I kind of wrote the character around being able to film that to a degree. So there was like kind of like a back and forth in that sense. You guys have answers for? Wait, I think this question was specific to you guys. I did see. I'm gonna let you guys tell me when to stop the Q&A, so I'm gonna continue since I see a couple hands. Yes. I did have.
Mine is more like a poll than a question. I'm curious, what attracts people to like a festival like this. I did study film first year 20-something years ago, so that's not exactly why I'm here. I'm more interested in doing different type of film, different type of art, so that's why I'm here. So I wanted to ask the crowd actually, like, for example, let's lift hands. Whoever's here because you studied film or you work in film. That's number one. If you studied film or you're working in the film industry. Who is here because you're into different style of art and different style of film? I don't know what's the third option. This is not how up, so some people didn't look at what is the third or fourth option? Like, tell me. Yeah, supporting so some people are, yeah, and they invited you. Okay, awesome. I was just very curious
Here's
about
another option. We actually, it's our anniversary.
Yeah.
That seems like a cool thing to do.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Just to answer on the third or fourth option, it's just to help like grow the industry, like slowly but surely, like do more of these things. I think there'll be more of it. Yeah.
I'm originally from Argentina. We are very art, culture based, very like there's everywhere, every night, a concert, a film, an underground, movie. There's always something different. And I haven't really found my way. I'm sure that it happens in Joburg as well, not as much, but I'm trying to find my way there. So yeah, supporting this type of things, I think it's awesome, and I'm looking forward to finding more of it. Yeah.
Yeah, those are interesting questions. Thank you. I think there's some fun answers for myself. Like to hear about it.
Supporting the people.
So some people are, yeah, and they invited you. Okay, awesome. I was just very curious.
Here's another option. We actually, it's our anniversary. So
Yeah. That seems like a cool